Hi, my name is Devon Spilecki, and this is my presentation on the effect of color on human perception of emotion. So color is a very basic sensory stimuli, which is a major part of vision, with color having a large implication to everyday life. People have developed a connection between particular colors and emotions. So a study was done by Naz and Epps, where blue is connected with peace, red is connected with love or dominance, and yellow is connected with joy or happiness. A similar study was done by Clark and Costall, where 75% of people had similar ideas to those from the study done by Naz and Epps, where blue is calm, red is love and anger, yellow is happiness and joy. They also found, however, that when you increase the vibrancy of a color, it is a more positive color. So you can have a bright yellow, which is happier than a dark yellow. Same goes with any color. Similar studies were also conducted on children aged 7 to 8, which further supported the connection of blue with peacefulness, red with love and anger, and yellow with happiness. This study in particular shows that this connection is developed at a young age, and as people mature, these connections would only become stronger, and colors and emotions will stay connected. To further these investigations, Kumar delved into the effects these associations have on purchasing products with different colored labels. It was found that someone was more willing to buy a product with a blue label than a purple or red label. This experiment was based on the positive or negative emotion that sparked from viewing the color on the packaging of the product, irrelevant of the product itself. All of these prior studies support that hues of color as well as vibrancies of color greatly influence someone's connection to emotions. However, they do not apply this ability for colors to skew human perception of facial expression. A major study done by Paul Ekman was conducted in 1999, where he investigated the global perception of facial expressions in connection to emotions. It was found that there are some emotions, such as happiness, that are more universal, whereas others, such as disgust, are more subjective to the culture that one believes in, or the place in which one grows up. Ekman did not, however, connect the color hues or vibrancies of photos to measure the ability for these colors to skew the perception of emotion. Since only some facial expressions are universal, it is important to only test these universal facial expressions, such as joy, relaxation, and anger, when comparing these to color. All of these studies had a very primitive background, and therefore they did not further compare how color can skew the human perception of other people's emotions. So how can the automatic response to color as an emotion affect the human perception of facial expressions? It's important to determine whether or not color vibrancies and hues have a significant impact on the ability to identify facial expressions, as it will allow for applications of understanding human connections to color and how it can skew human perception. The aim of this experiment will be to explore the effect of color vibrancies and hues on the perception of another person's facial expressions. It is hypothesized that color hues over photos will affect the percentage of people who can correctly identify the emotion being depicted. So if there's a yellow color hue over a photo, it's more likely for someone to correctly identify a happy person than a sad person if the photo is of someone who's happy, as opposed to having a red hue over the photo. When someone is happy, they're less likely, the percentage of people to correctly guess the photo as happy with a red hue will decrease. To further this, when the vibrancy of a photo is increased, the percentage of people who assume the photo is happy will increase. In the study, the independent variables are the hue and vibrancy of color, while the dependent variable is the percentage of people who can correctly perceive the emotion. Thank you.